This is a base lesson revision from talking to the moon, my Bruno Mars, that we did in class this week. And we're going to start off learning the Mixolydian scale, which is going to sound like this. I'm hoping you recognize it from the session earlier. And the first step is to first of all learn the scale. And then while we're learning the scale, we're going to explain why the Mixolydian, why not the major, how they relate. And then we're going to see what we can do with the scales. But first step, as we said, let's learn the scale. Its name, once more, is the Mixolydian. And we're starting it at fret number 3, which means it's the G Mixolydian, which happens to be in the key of C major. We'll get back to that shortly. But first of all, pay attention to my finger notation. Fingers 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are numbered. Make sure that you start on the middle finger, finger 2. Everything in fret 5 is going to be the pinky. Basically, every finger has a dedicated fret. So the first two notes are going to be fret 3 and fret 5 on the 4th string, followed by frets 2, 3, and 5. Nice big stretch there. You can see my thumb is quite low down on the neck, so it's not like that. That wouldn't work, wouldn't help me with the stretch. And then we go to the 2nd string. For those that aren't sure of the string numbers, remember, the smaller the string, the smaller the number. So this is your 1st string, which will be fret 2, 4, and 5. And we started on the 4th string, being obviously the bigger string, the bigger number. So let's play that through now with me. So I'm going to count 2, 3, 4, and you and I are going to play through the scale as we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now to descend or reverse, go down the scale in pitch, which means we start on the pinky and it's going to be like this. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we mentioned earlier about G Mixolydian, but we're actually going to be in the key of C. So why use this scale instead of just going straight to the C major scale? Reason being, C major scale's over here, so it's quite high up the guitar neck. And if you listen to these notes, and these notes I'm going to play now, you'll notice that they're exactly the same. The only reason when we're playing it down here is that I can't use those notes, so I want to include these notes into my use when I'm playing in the key of C, because lots of songs are in the key of C, so I want all the scale notes available to me. The Mixolydian starting on G actually has all the notes available to me, so if I call out the note names are G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. In other words, no sharps or flats. And the nice thing about the scale over here, even that might seem unusual to start on a Mixolydian scale, is that it gives me all the notes that I need to jam in the key of C without having to go higher register over here, because obviously here the notes go quite high. And you don't necessarily want a higher register when playing bass. You want a much more deeper sound, and that's why we went for the G Mixolydian. I'm not going to explain modes in detail now. That's a video for another day. First of all, first goal, learn the scale. Now, in the class today, we used Talking to the Moon by Bruno Mars as our study for it. It should actually have a capo at fret 4 for the guitarist, but we're going to transpose it from the original key of E to the key of C just to see how we can use the scales. Okay, so your PDF that I'm sending through with us actually shows the notes starting on C. And if you've got a friend that's a guitarist, make sure he doesn't put a capo at fret 4 and plays the chords C, E7, etc., as written down on the PDF. Okay. If you're playing with a backtrack, obviously capo fret 4. If you've got any questions about that, WhatsApp me. I'll be happy to answer them. I don't want the video going to talk about too much theory. Okay. I would also advise maybe you draw a guitar neck somewhere on a piece of paper, get a pen or pencil, and make a note that the note C is there, especially for those that are still new to bass, just in case you perhaps don't know the names of the notes. Very important as a bass player. That's what we need to learn. That note is C. This note is B. Now we're going to use the B note for the chord E7 instead of using the note E. There is a reason for that. It's got to do with inversions. But for now, when you see E7 on the page, in other words, when your guitar player is playing E7, you play the note B. The next chord is going to be A minor. All we are interested as a bass player for now is the A. If we're doing arpeggios, it would be different for those that know about arpeggios. We're not going there now. The G, and then we're going to go outside the scale box and we're going to borrow this F over here as well. We could also have played that F, but we don't want to go for the higher register for this specific jam. Okay, so one more time. C for the C major, the B note for the E7th chord, the A note for the A minor, the G for the G, and instead of going to the high F, we go to the low F. So you get a really nice descending diatonic phrase like this. And you can hear it sort of leads quite nicely, otherwise you'd end up having something like this. Now I'm going to play it through quickly as if I actually used an E instead of a B for the E chord. Listen to the difference. That sounds quite dramatic, so we don't really want that. We want to have a more flowing, gentle bass line. So that's how we use the B note, because the note B is found in the chord E7. So the note B is actually in the E7 chord. That's why it works. Going to stop there. Not going to explain too much theory. And then, obviously, the A minor G F speaks for itself. Now, just quickly for those that aren't sure of the picking technique or wants to revise it, make sure that you're using fingers 1 and 2. You'll see my thumb is resting on the pickup over here. So those two fingers can walk. You can see them walking right now. And as I play through the scale, and I'm going to get a bit closer now, you can see the fingers alternating. First finger, second finger, first finger, second finger, first finger, second finger, first finger, second finger. That's going to give you a lot more speed. And also, watch my thumb as I go through the scale. I'm going to cross string. You see that with my thumb, it's resting on that string. Next one, rests on this string now. And the purpose of the thumb resting there is to control the string so it doesn't vibrate unnecessarily. So you got nice string control by resting the thumb on the string that you're playing. So if I take it one more time through, watch my thumb as it works its way down until the bottom string. Here we go. If you want to play with, you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back. You can see the thumb is nice and close. Please don't do that. I've seen 1 or 2 students do this. The hassle with this is you can't even get your first finger onto that string, onto the bottom string really. So very important, get the finger working. And the goals for this video was to learn the G Mixolydian scale. Why the G Mixolydian? Because it provides you with all the notes on all 4 strings in the key of C major. In other words, this one, even though it starts on G Mixolydian, it has the same notes as C major. That's why we can say they're related. But like I said, theory other day. One more time up and down with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. Now, the next video, we're going to look at the song. But for now, first of all, get your scale ready. Learn the scale, play it. It's a very useful scale. And we'll see you shortly on another video. Thank you.